Hi guys, this episode brought to you by Scottish Grappling. Scottish Grappling doing events throughout Scotland throughout the year. Next event is going to be SGI 7. SGI 7 is going to be held in the usual place in Maryhill Community Centre on Saturday the 14th of March. Event kicks off around about 4:30, runs till obviously finish, but usually around about 10 o'clock. Tickets are available on the Eventbrite website, which you can get the link through the Scottish Grappling page. So promises to be obviously a good night. We've got the under 75 tournament that's going to be going on, and it looks like a stacked card at the moment. Obviously a lot of big names on there, a lot of familiar names. So yeah, promises to be a fantastic event. So yeah, keep an eye out for obviously updates for that through the Scottish Grappling page. Next competition event is going to be the Glasgow BJJ Open. Glasgow BJJ Open will be held on the 5th of April. So that'll be Sunday the 5th of April. This is a gi only event. It's going to be held again at the usual place, Scotstoun Leisure Centre in Glasgow. So yeah, as I mentioned, gi only event. So obviously they're going to have juveniles, going to have adult division, masters, and obviously the seniors division as well. So obviously absolutes are going to be on. So there's going to be some absolute prizes as well. So again, James and Gary will keep everybody updated through both Scottish Grappling page and the Scottish BJJ community page. So hi guys, welcome to StoomCast. So today I'm joined by obviously a very good friend and brother of mine, Mark MacQueen. Mark's obviously a training partner of mine at MMBJJ. Currently white belt at the moment, but obviously looking to make his way up through the ranks. Mark's had a phenomenal run in jiu-jitsu, as we're going to hear. Obviously had a few competitions so far. I think the record sits at, he's had 16 fights, 16 wins, never lost a point, which obviously, as you jiu-jitsu guys know, to go 16 fights and never lose a point is an absolute phenomenal record. And pretty much dominated every single person that he's went up against. And it's been absolutely fantastic to watch. I got to see Mark in training every day. Or every time I'm in the gym, I say every day, Mark, but I'm never there every day. So I know you are. But yeah, I get to see it every day in the gym. I've been on the receiving end, obviously the pressure and the dominance that Mark brings to the mat. And comes from a powerlifting background as well. So obviously we'll hear some about that as well. So Mark, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me on. I've been really looking forward to it.
Nice one, nice one. So for the first thing then is jiu-jitsu. So what got you into jiu-jitsu? What was the allure to bring you over to jiu-jitsu?
Yes, so to be honest, basically what happened was I'd stopped powerlifting. So obviously that was my career, that was everything. I was pretty much a full-time powerlifter for Team GB and whatnot, and I just, over the course of kind of many years, I'd been probably lying to myself about it, that wasn't what I wanted to do, but kind of lying to myself, and I kept going, and eventually just got to a point where I just it wasn't what I wanted to do in my life anymore, and I just really wasn't, it wasn't the direction I wanted to take my life. Mm-hmm. So I decided that, enough was enough, and I was going to take a step back from competing in powerlifting and focus more on the coaching side of things, coaching powerlifting and whatnot. But from the actual competing point of view, it wasn't what I wanted to do. I still love, the sport, still loved coaching all the people that I currently coach and whatnot. But from my own personal goals, it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I was honestly a wee bit lost. I didn't really know, what to do, how to almost fill that kind of void kind of thing. And at that point, obviously, I was weighing, I was up at 150 kilos, which, is pretty ridiculous. But to lift the biggest weights, you've got to be as big as you can. So I wanted to lose weight and just kind of get fitter and almost just kind of do something to just learn something new. And my big brother Gavin, he'd been doing jiu-jitsu for I think probably about 3.5 years by that point. And I thought, well, that it seems quite fun, and I'll go along and I'll be able to learn something new. And I honestly never actually went to jiu-jitsu with the kind of idea of competing in it, or trying to take it super seriously or anything. It was more just going because it was an opportunity to learn something new and be a complete beginner, and also just kind of, it was just something to do. And then just as the kind of weeks had gone by, I realised that it was actually really enjoyable, and it was something that I wanted to compete in. And then after the first competition, that's where I was like, I actually really want to try and do something.
Yeah. And then you started, where was the first place you started jiu-jitsu?
So I was living down in Borough, which is North Yorkshire. I was training down there full time for powerlifting, and then I started training at Gracie Barra Harrogate, because that was the only really kind of local jiu-jitsu club there was, and it was very good. The Professor Lewis Matthews was who owned it, and then they also had another professor called Jeffrey, and they took it. It was very, very good, but I was only there for about 3 months before my lease in my flat ended, and I moved back up to Glasgow, and then obviously I've been with Marcos since then.
Yeah. And the good thing, Gracie Barra, a lot of things they teach, as you probably know, being there for the short time, was the brotherhood, the family. Everybody's there helping each other and things like that. So coming from powerlifting, because I'm pretty sure that, I would think that being in powerlifting, it would be very, very similar, because you guys, obviously a lot of big guys, and you're pushing each other to kind of lift as much weights. So did you feel that when you went into Gracie Barra, into jiu-jitsu for the first time, it had a similar type of brotherhood to what the powerlifting was?
It's interesting. I wouldn't say maybe powerlifting does have that necessarily. I would say I had that because I'd moved out to Leeds. Well, originally, I trained at a place called OBS in Clydebank, and there was that, but then unfortunately, people had kind of moved on with their life and went in different directions, and it maybe kind of lost that a little bit. And then I've moved to a place called Physique and Power Fitness over in Cumbernauld, where I actually met a boy called Gary, who's now one of my best mates, and Connor as well, and Johnny. And then I moved down to Leeds, where I was training with Luke, Joe, and a few more people who were all my best mates. So I would say I definitely had that. Because it was me and my best friends. We were all training together. However, as a general rule, I would say it probably doesn't. And I'd say maybe within Scotland as well, I would say Scotland maybe actually lacks that a little bit. I would say, without firing shots or naming names, I would say Scottish powerlifting, a general rule, is maybe the most inclusive place. I would say they maybe settle in mediocrity and stick together. As a general rule, I'd maybe say that.
And then your first thoughts then, jiu-jitsu, because I know that when a lot of people come into jiu-jitsu, and again, me especially, when I first started, obviously I'd seen it on the TV, I'd been watching it for years, watched YouTube videos, watched the UFC coming up and things like that. And then I remember going in the first time and actually seeing guys rolling, and you had guys inside in guys' guards, and to me it was complete alien, thinking I don't really want to be in between another guy's legs or cuddling another guy, sweating on other guys and things like that. So what was your initial thoughts? Because I know you mentioned Gavin. We all laugh and joke about Gavin being the less successful MacQueen brother. So we always laugh about that. But obviously Gavin had been doing it, as you mentioned, obviously a few years, so you'd kind of known about it. But what was your first initial thoughts day one going into the gym?
Oh, it was weird. I didn't really know what to think. And again, I would say in the first month, I wouldn't say I was really sold on it. I mean, I've read a lot of people that they go to their first ever class and they're hooked and they absolutely love it. And that's what I was like with lifting weights. When I first went into a gym and lifted weights, it was actually after having my left knee reconstructed when I was 16, and I was to lift weights as part of my kind of rehab from the surgery, from my physio. And when I first went and lifted weights, I mean, that I was hooked. I mean, I was like, that was it. I mean, I was sold. But with jiu-jitsu, I don't think I really was for the first month. I didn't not enjoy it. I did enjoy it when I was there, but I wasn't like hooked, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then I would say after the first month, when I started to obviously you don't. I mean, I've only been doing it for 10 months. I still don't understand a ton of stuff. I'm still a complete beginner. But after the first month, when you at least know some of the positions, that's when I would say I started to like really be like, oh, this is really fun. I'm really enjoying this, and you're in this. When you're here, this is called this position, blah blah blah. But it was definitely very alien and completely new. I didn't really have any knowledge on it. I wasn't even completely sure what the positions were all called.
Yeah. I mean, it's still the same for me. I mean, see, when somebody shows me a move and says, Stuart, this is a whatever, I'm like, yeah, no problem. So it's and as I said, I'm 6 years in, so as long as I know what a Kimura is, an Americana, a bread cutter choke, rear naked choke, then I'm fine with them four.
Me too.
And then you moved up. You said you were there for about 3 months at GB, and then obviously came back to Glasgow, and then obviously got into Marcos's. So it was obviously a straightforward thing. Gavin was there, so it kind of made sense. Obviously you came along as well. So what was your initial thoughts, obviously coming into Marcos's for the first time, again coming from GB down south? What was your first thoughts?
It was awesome. It was more up my street. GB Casey Harrogate was amazing.
Yeah.
The professors were brilliant. Really, really. I mean, Lewis has competed very successfully, and very, very good coaches. But what I loved, it was more up my street because I would say that there was more competitors.
Yeah.
I would say there's more competitors, and I would say that people were. I would just say it was maybe more serious, if that makes sense. And the training was harder in the sense of people rode harder. When you were on side control, you were looking to put all your pressure through the person at the bottom, for example. It was more up my street, and it was just the standard was, or not was, the standard is incredible. And the amount of classes that are available, how helpful everybody is. It was awesome. I mean, I really couldn't have, in my opinion, I really couldn't have, came to a better place at all.
Yeah, and the good thing about obviously Marcos, as we know, it's pretty much 7 days a week. It's open every day. Guys can come in, as you know. Not even.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a key. I can literally train 24/7 if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a really, really, fortunate position to be in. It's incredible.
Yeah. And then, as I say, you've been there what you've been with us now for about what?
Just under 7 months. So so basically, I think halfway through this month I've been doing it for 10 months.
Yeah. And it's been a remarkable 10 months. I mean, you've and again, when I first came into the gym, and I remember the first day I came in, and the first time I'd seen you, it was like Gavin was like, Stuart, I've got Mark to roll with you, and I looked over and I'm like, Mark's a big guy, and I remember saying I'm not ready for Mark yet. So, and even
I remember that because I remember you said let me warm up, or it was something along those lines.
yeah, so and I remember I said I've been watching you now for the whole time that I first seen you onwards, and as I said, just seeing how you've changed and how your style's changed, and do you know what I mean? Your base is so much better. Your movement is very, very quick for being a big guy, for being an ultra heavyweight. As you've seen other ultra heavyweights fighting, and a lot of them don't move quick. I mean, a lot of them get to a position and then they'll try and stall the fight out because they either get tired or they just don't have that same movement that you have. So, what other things do you incorporate into your training that kind of helps you with your jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so obviously I wrestle. I'm wrestling like 3 times a week. And obviously you can't. In the freestyle wrestling, you can't not move well and do that successfully. And not that I'm done wrestling successfully. Again, I'm a complete beginner. But I would say that the wrestling 3 times a week has definitely helped. Then with jiu-jitsu, like not in training, like just not stalling positions and actually trying to, progress and actually moving with intent, and then in the gym, to be honest, like I do standard stuff like box jumps, clapping press ups, push press. I am doing power movements, but to be honest, in the gym again, it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of based around pretty basic movements. So everything's kind of based around deadlifts, squats, push press, bench press, chin ups, clapping press ups, and box jumps, and basically like that's the kind of my kind of base of movements, and I do all them over 3 days, and then I'll throw in some like assistance exercises and like some unilateral work with my legs and whatnot. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything that I do like this is what I do and it makes me move well. I mean, I maybe I'm just maybe lucky that I maybe do move well. I wouldn't say there's any key to my success of that. I would say probably training jiu-jitsu and wrestling 2 to 3 times a day, 6 days a week. And the trying to lift the weights and have that strength, because obviously power is just strength applied quickly. If you've not got the strength, then you're not going to be powerful, because to be powerful, you've got to have a lot of strength, and then you've got to be able to apply that strength quickly. So I would say, being very strong, obviously coming from powerlifting, and then also incorporating power movements, and then also doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling, up to 20 hours a week, and then also just maybe being lucky that I just naturally move quite well.
And you talked as well about the training 6 days a week. Now, it's not unusual for you to, in the build up to a competition, to be in 7 days a week. So every day, and we always say to you, I would say, look, Mark, you're going to take a day off, and you're like, no, I'm absolutely fine. And when you talk to you about how's your, because I always say to you during competition, how you feeling, how's your energy levels, how's this, how's that, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. And then you go on the mat and you'll roll for an hour, no problem at all. You'll roll every single round, and you'll do that 7 days a week for maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks in the lead up to a competition. So how do you keep the energy levels going? So do you take any kind of supplements in regards to like any vitamins or anything else that you would take?
Yes, so I would say the first thing is like you're going to feel, I would say the first thing is just coming from being like basically a full-time powerlifter, obviously with Team GB, and I was training full time anyway. Since I was,
Yeah.
Pretty much since I was 16, all I've done is train. That's like all I've done, and any job I've had has been picked to allow me to train. Full time. So obviously that's coming. I'm 20, just turned 25, so that's coming on a decade of training like that. So I would say just being used to that is obviously a big factor. It's not like I've gone from being completely untrained and not done anything to just jumping into that.
Yeah.
And then I would say secondly, kind of the main areas of proper recovery is the three main areas. Is number one is proper sleep, number two is proper nutrition, and I'd say number three is proper hydration.
Yeah.
Before you look to any kind of supplementary things to do, though they're the three things that you'd focus on. I don't personally think there's any point taking action and other things until you can get those three things in order. First and foremost being sleep.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping 7 to 9 hours of as uninterrupted sleep as possible? Could you get a nap during the day to supplement that? Then hydrate, and then nutrition. Obviously, it depends on your weight class, but as a general rule, eating at a maintenance calories, or maybe just slightly over a maintenance calories, is going to give you the best benefit of keeping your energy levels as high as you can. Obviously, if you go into a deficit, then that's going to impact your recovery. And obviously, because I'm in the heaviest weight class, and I mean, don't be wrong, I have lost like 33 kilos, and I was in a deficit for a long time, but now I'm trying to kind of maintain weight, maybe even gain a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
I'm eating in maybe like 100 to 150 calorie surplus and lead up to competitions. So that'll be helping my energy levels. And then lastly, just proper hydration. Again, just trying your best to stay hydrated, and that doesn't just involve drinking water. That also involves making sure that your sodium and your potassium and your calcium intake are also at the right dosages as well, because without your electrolytes, you're not going to be fully hydrated if they're not taken care of as well. So that's the main three areas. And then obviously I would say I do have those three areas down. So then I look for, physio. So, can you get a physio treatment a week, or can you get like a sports massage a week, or every 2 weeks, or a month, once a month, something like that. That's a good area to look at.
Yeah.
Walking, so walking, nothing major, maybe a couple of times a week, depending on how many times you're training. You can go walking. That's going to be really good for your recovery. Hot cold treatment, so sauna, steam room, plunge pools, or if you don't have access to them, you're doing cold baths and maybe warm showers.
Yeah.
And then you can maybe look at some other stuff. So something that maybe would be very, very beneficial to everybody in the UK is a supplement with like a vitamin D supplement. That's going to really help, and again that'll help with the uptake of calcium as well.
Yeah.
I would say they're the kind of areas to look at. I would say, again, weight class dependent, I would say creatine is a very, very inexpensive and a good supplement for every athlete on the planet. It might not necessarily help recovery. I mean, there's studies that say it do, but that's here nor there. But for performance increases, power output increases, it might be minimal, but it definitely does. And for the sake of, I think like a basic creatine monohydrate powder from My Protein, I think you're probably talking like £5 a month. So for the sake of something that's very inexpensive, that's the kind of areas that I would look at to improve recovery. And lastly, just like improving your overall work capacity, like being consistent. So if you train 3 times a week, and that's where your work capacity is, and then you want to start weight training, you never weight trained before, then it's like don't start lifting weights 3 times a week and then also doing jiu-jitsu 6 times a week. I would take the jiu-jitsu 3 times and maybe start lifting weights a couple of times a week, and then once you've improved your work capacity to deal with that, then you could up jiu-jitsu to 4 times and then 5 times and then maybe a double session and then and so on and so forth. but it's all about improving your work capacity appropriately, and then also throwing in deloads as well. You know, it's I would say they're very, very important as well. You know, like the easiest time to probably deload is like the week after a competition. You know, you could have like a full week off, or you could, you know, just half your training days, or you could keep the training days the same, but you don't roll, you just drill. You know, there's the multiple ways, and it is important to deload and make sure. And every sport, not just jiu-jitsu, but every sport, powerlifting, even if you just lift weights for no other reason, just for fun, it's very important to deload, because if you're constantly running yourself into the ground and you're never giving yourself a chance to drop the fatigue, then that's not going to be good for recovery either.
Definitely. So, and you've done it for years. I mean, you mentioned there, obviously, nearly a decade now, fully training and obviously competitions and things like that. So when you walked into your first jiu-jitsu competition, I always remember your first one, because I remember, and it's good when this happens, because when you get like lower belts coming up and asking for advice and saying, look, what have you any advice? Obviously you've done competitions, what would you advise, or what's to expect? And I remember you're like a sponge. You take in so much information from every single person that you come in contact with, whether they're a white belt, blue, purple, brown, or even black belt. So you take in as much information, which is a good thing.
I think I almost feel like I annoy people sometimes, because I'm always asking someone a question. Literally always asking someone a question. And I almost feel like I'm like pissing people off. I'm always asking questions.
No, it's good. I mean, it's good because as a higher belt, as a blue belt, or any other belt, I mean, not a lot of times you get asked questions, especially like when competitions coming up. But as I say, you're one of the guys. You're one of the very few guys that'll reach out to people, whether obviously you chat to them in the gym, or you Facebook Messenger, text them, WhatsApp, or whatever you do, or even speaking to them at the competition. And it's always, do you know what I mean? How do you think I'm doing? What do you think my game plan should be? What do you think I'm doing well? What am I not doing well? So you're always asking for that advice, which is brilliant. And obviously the guys love it, because do you know what I mean? We anybody that asks us a question, we'll always do our best to try and help out. Even in training, if guys are rolling, we'll always do our best to try and kind of help people, especially if they're doing competitions. In regards to saying, well, especially like before the Euros, me and you were like, right, well, I came over and I said, right, Mark, we'll get a couple of rolls in. All we're doing is takedowns. Do you know what I mean? So you just take me down over and over again. And so for you in your first competition, I remember you saying to me, Stuart, obviously this is my first comp. What am I going to expect? What do you think I should do? How do you think I should do it? And again, so I was able to talk to you about that. So for you, what was your initial thoughts, obviously walking in to, because I believe it was Ravenscraig was the first one, then it was the Scotstoun, and then obviously the Euros after it. So walking into Ravenscraig the first time, then what was your thoughts? What was going through your head with nerves and things like that?
Again, I wasn't really just sure what to expect. That's the only way I could describe it. I wouldn't say I was definitely I was definitely nervous, you know. Again, like nerves are a good thing, you know. Nerves are good for multiple reasons. One, it shows that you care. It shows that you're invested in what you're about to do. It readies your body. So I wasn't perceiving that negatively, but I was nervous because I was excited and I wanted to do well. But I just wasn't sure what to expect. But I think what helped me was I knew what to expect from myself. So I literally had my game plan. So like it was literally like, you know, be aggressive and be assertive and be first with everything. So be first in my grips, be first to try and take the person down, And then when I take them down, if I end up in guard, this is the type of guard pass that I'm going to try and do. If I end up in side control, this is the submission I'm going to try and take.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to try and do. So that's what maybe helps, and also that was helped by, you know, all of the people in the gym there, the people that helped me, you know, come up with that. But so that should maybe help me, was I had a clear and concise game plan, and I wasn't interested in what the other person was going to try and do, because in my head I was like, well, if I'm first, then they're going to have to defend what I'm trying to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I think helped settle down a little bit. But I wasn't sure what to expect. I was a complete, you know, fish out of water. I had no clue what to expect. It was my first one. I just wanted to do well, and by do well, I mean win.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you did. I mean, you went out there, and I mean, exactly when me and you spoke about it, you said, Stuart, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take the person down. I'm going to pass their guard, and I'm going to, whatever submission comes, whether it's a Kimura, whether it's an Americana, choke, anything like that, I'm going to take it. And you went out there and pretty much done. I mean, you had the whole team was around your mat. When you went on, everybody was there watching, like, come on, Matt, let's do this. And then you went out, and that first takedown, man, everybody was like, yes, do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
And every single fight, I mean, you took everybody down. You took everybody down with ease. There was no issues at all.
Apart from in the absolute final, they pulled guards, but apart from that, the game plan worked pretty well. Yeah.
And I think you had that first competition, if I can remember rightly, you had, 4 fights?
No, it was six, 3 in my weight class.
3 in your weight, 3 in the absolute,
and then 3 in the absolute, so it was 6, yeah.
Yeah, and then you were there, that was the first time they'd started doing prize money. So, and I remember, obviously, you won the gold, you won the division, won the absolute, and then you got some money thrown into the pot as well, which...
Oh, it was amazing. I couldn't believe that they would, like, give money for, like, a white belt competition.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. So you managed to do that. So obviously your first competition was out the way. I'd say double gold, and then obviously some cash thrown in as well. Then that took you to Scotstoun for your second competition. So, and again, second competition went exactly as the first one did as well. So obviously it was the takedowns as well. And again, how many fights did you have in that one?
6 again.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 in the weight class, and then 4 in the absolute.
That's right, because you've had 6 at Ravenscraig, 6 at Scotstoun, and then 4 at the Euros. So 16 altogether. So, and again, moving into your second competition then, so at Scotstoun, so I take it you would have felt a little bit more comfortable. You knew what to expect at that point. So,
I would say I was probably more nervous for that competition,
right,
than I was for the first competition,
mm-hmm.
because by my second competition was when I felt like that's when I was really trying to take jiu-jitsu like a bit more seriously, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then also with that then becomes like your own expectations, my own expectations of myself, and then also, and it's more just nervous of trying to live up to your own expectations. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Because obviously the first ones went well, so you just want to keep that momentum going type thing. So yeah. And then, so I'd say you done that again, double gold at that one. Again, got some more money from Scottish Grappling. So we're doing well. You're doing well with the prize money so far. And then, so the big one then, obviously the Europeans. So what was your kind of motivation to put your name forward for that. So what put you? What was the thing that said, you know what, I'm going to give that a try?
I'm a competitor. I love to compete. I'm like competitive to like to a fault. Where like my family won't play Monopoly with me anymore, for example. I just love competing. And to me, it's about competing to the highest level that you have available. That's what I want to do with powerlifting. With powerlifting, I want to be the world champion in IPF because that was the best federation. It was the number one drug tested federation. It was just the best federation. So that's where all the best people were. So you can win world championships in other federations, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the truth of the matter is, in my opinion, if you didn't win an IPF, it doesn't count because that's the best federation there is.
Yeah.
And that was what I wanted to do, and I did it, and I did become world champion in IPF. And it's the same with jiu-jitsu. The next available competition to me was the European Championship, and was the highest level of competition. So I wanted to compete against, at my belt level in my weight class. I just wanted to compete against the best people possible, and that's what I wanted to do. It's just a case of there's a competitive side that needs to be kind of fulfilled almost, and the Euros was the kind of best thing that I had available to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go up against the best people I could.
Yeah. And IBJJF is the biggest in regards to the numbers of competitors and even going in, spectators, and just the way it's set up and things like that. IBJJF is the number one. It's been the number one for years. It's the IBJJF comps are the ones that people want to win, because you win an IBJJF comp, it puts you, in regards to your jiu-jitsu, it puts you at a different level from maybe local competitions. But local competitions are fantastic, because you do local competitions to get yourself up to a level to then take you forward to do an IBJJF comp.
And don't get me wrong, again, I'm obviously like a complete beginner at the beginner level and whatnot. But like some people I've come up against in the local competitions are, brilliant, for in comparison to the belt level, I felt like, they've been really, really good.
Yeah. And then your IBJJF, it can be daunting because of the size of the IBJJF comps. Now, I don't know about obviously the powerlifting, what how many competitors you had or how many spectators and things like that you had, but what was your initial thoughts, obviously walking in to the Odiveas, the centre for the very first time? And
my first thought was just, fuck me, it's huge.
Yeah.
It just it's huge. Powerlifting's obviously got a lot of competitors, and there's multiple countries would all go, would all go to the Worlds and whatnot, and obviously there's big venues, but it's not as big. That's the truth, and it's the atmosphere is not even close. It was just like, wow, this is huge, and then it's like again, it's just like, right, you better fucking win. There's just that's the only thought that was in my head after I got that out. It's a case of, right, you better win. You know exactly what you need to do. And the length of time I've been doing jiu-jitsu, you couldn't have done more or worked harder. You put in the work, and you better win. That was all that I was really thinking, to be honest.
Yeah. And you, you put in the work for the Euros. You were, don't get me wrong, all the guys put in work for the Euros, so everybody that was there did really well. I know that
everyone was working super hard. Yeah.
And I know that a few of the guys actually got together with you because you mentioned earlier about doing the coaching for other powerlifters as well, but you also did some coaching with I believe Jack Brown, Peter
Yeah, so I mean,
Downs.
Jack's awesome. I mean, I can't thank him enough. Like in the length of time that I've been at Marcos, he's like, you know, everyone's helped so much, but you know, Jack's really like taken me under his wing, and
Yeah.
just you know, just the amount of advice and help, and even just like, you know, nice few messages and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I mean, Jack's, I mean, just as a person, is just, you know, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And then and just, you know, how you know, he's not needed, you know, he's not needed to, you know, be so helpful or go out of his way to help me, or or give me advice, or, you know, just everything. He just, you know, he just helps, you know, so much.
Yeah.
You know, I really, you know, just, you know, can't be more grateful with how much he's helped me and take me under wing. And same with like my big brother Gavin, like he's done the same, and then you and Peter and Chris and literally everybody, you know, everybody's just been so helpful and so nice. But so I've been helping Jack with his strength training, and also helping Peter with his strength training, and then also helped you as well with your strength training.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really good. Again, it's quite humbling. It's really nice that they are, you know, like trusting me to, you know, go out with their comfort zone and put the time and effort into lifting the weights. And I'm pleased that they're getting a return from it, in the sense of their performance. You know, with their strength improving, is hopefully helping their jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing I'm going to do. I mean, I know I had to take, obviously, we started off, and then obviously circumstances meant I had to stop again. But, I mean, I'm going to be hooking up with you at some point in the next couple of weeks, because obviously this whole Tribe away thing. So, we'll get that started again, get some stuff going again. So, and it's good. I mean, what you do is, and again, for anybody that's interested, I mean, just you can obviously get in contact with Mark on Instagram, so Mark MacQueen, or even on Facebook as well. So what Mark does is Mark kind of tailors a program to you. So obviously he'll talk about, and again, this was something that was unusual to me, because obviously when I was like the diet side of things, because whenever I thought about diet, or everything I'd known about dieting was counting calories and things like that, whereas you do it by macros.
Yeah. Basically, your kind of your three food groups, your three macronutrient groups are just proteins, carbs, and fats.
Yeah.
And it's calorie counting. It's pretty much the same, but instead of like counting like you're exactly, I'm trying to hit 2,500 calories. We're trying to hit, you know, say X amount of protein, X amount of carbs, and X amount of fat.
Yeah.
So it is kind of calorie counting, but it's more you're focusing on the numbers in each food group rather than the total calories, because you could eat, if your goal was just 2,500 calories for the day, you could end up eating 2,500 calories worth of carbohydrates and not get any protein or fats in.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're tracking your macros, you're making sure you're getting your protein and your fats in as well, because, you know, all three food groups are as important as each other. You know, I'm not, by no means am I a nutrition expert or a nutritionist. You know, where I really kind of specialise in is, you know, strength training and periodization and programming and movement, you know, actually the movements themselves. But when it comes to like nutrition, I would say I have a pretty, you know, good kind of knowledge base. And because, you know, from a recovery point of view, you know, protein is so important. If you're dieting and you want to keep as much muscle mass as possible, having a proper protein intake is so important. If you're trying to put on muscle, having a proper protein intake is important. To stay properly satiated, having a proper protein intake is so important. And again, for for hormonal purposes, fats are so important. For and then from energy point of view, carbohydrates. So all three are as important as each other in moderation and a balanced diet for sure.
Yeah. And then as I say, the one thing you do is always whenever you or whenever anybody contacts you, you always do the questionnaire first. So find out from them, what do they want to do, what do they want to get out of training, what do they want from you, and so whether they want to lose weight, whether they want to get stronger, or anything to do with it, then you will then at that point, based on whatever they've answered, is then tailor a program which is specifically suited to each and individual person. So obviously my program would have been different from Peter's or Jack's or anybody else's. So
yeah, of course. So like they are, it's all regards to, when it comes to being a powerlifter, your periodization will vary based on when competitions are, and it's the exact same for like if someone does jiu-jitsu, because if someone does jiu-jitsu, we need to periodize their training based on when the competition is. Or if you are, say, like a rugby player, then that's where periodization is even more important, because say for jiu-jitsu, say you compete, it's just like for argument's sake, just to make it like really easy, say you competed like 3 times in 1 year, then you could, that's pretty easy to periodize for. But if you say you're a rugby player, you're competing every weekend for half of the year, for example. So yes, it's all about finding out the individual needs of each person, because each person is different and each person's goal, and then it's about periodizing it properly and also taking into account the person's kind of training experience and training level as well. If somebody is very advanced, there's more that you could do with them. Maybe more more complex movements, like you could be doing stuff like cleans and clean and jerks and stuff like that. Or if someone's a complete beginner, you're probably not going to have them doing a clean on day one if they can't even like perform a bodyweight squat, for example.
And then so for you, I mean, you and your training, I mean, you mentioned earlier when you were 150 kilos at one point. Now you're walking around, what are you, about 115, 116 now?
I was 117 this morning.
Yeah. So and again, that's obviously through your own change now. Obviously, being 150 kilos, as you mentioned, you needed to do that because of the sport you were in at the time in regards to powerlifting. And now you're in jiu-jitsu. So you going to kick around about the 115? Do you feel that you can drop more? Or
yeah, that's a good. I've been thinking about this a lot actually, and I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure what to kind of do with my body weight. I definitely don't want to get lighter, because, for example, in the second match at the Euros, I think the guy weighed like 140 to 150 kilograms. So he outweighed me by like 30 kilos, which is a lot. Now, so I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. I'm not sure I want to kind of like maintain where my body weight is at now, or even try and get a little bit heavier. But again, it's the trade-off. If you get a little bit heavier, will my movement suffer? Will my kind of gas tank suffer? So in an ideal world, if I can maybe be 120 kilos, so probably about 3 kilos of like good quality like muscle tissue. Of course, that'll take a lot, time. That's a more of a maybe medium term goal. But if I could do that and not sacrifice, my gas tank and my ability to move and everything, then that's what I think I kind of like to do right now. Just because, obviously, when you're dealing with people that can weigh 140, 150, you've got to kind of be around about that size to be able to handle that when your skill levels are pretty equal, because obviously you compete within your belt rank. Like for example, like I outweigh Marcos by like 40 kilos, but Marcos can do whatever he wants to me, whenever he wants to me. Do you know what I mean? Same with Jack, for example. Like if Jack wants to leg lock me, he'll just leg lock instantly. There's not there's not very much that I can do, but that's because their skill level so far exceeds mine.
Yeah.
By just like unimaginable amounts. But obviously, when competing within my belt rank, and we're all similar, similar skill levels, then that's when if somebody outweighs somebody by 30, 40 kilos, that's when size does kind of play a part. I would say I'm quite lucky where I do feel like I maybe still have the strength advantage. Just from my background in powerlifting. But I think maybe try and gain a couple more kilos up to about 120.
Yeah.
Just to maybe even out the playing field a little bit. If I do have to come up against somebody maybe it's 130 to 140 kilos.
Yeah.
And obviously as well with that little bit of extra weight, that'd allow me to get a little bit stronger than what I am right now.
Yeah.
And help facilitate that. But I just don't want to do that with the trade-off of losing a gas tank and also, because obviously like I'm still a complete beginner and it's still very early days, so my movement still needs to improve, my mobility and whatnot still needs to improve, and also my gas tank still needs to improve. So I still need those aspects to improve, massively. So I don't want to be making a decision that's going to, hinder them. So it's all kind of try it out and I suppose just see what happens.
Yeah. And then obviously going back to the Euros then, so it was quite funny, Euros, because again we were all talking about this before it, like what day is Mark going to be on, what day is he going to be on, and I was like, well, the Euros has never ever been on a Monday. I mean, it's been going for X amount of years, it's never been on a Monday, so more than likely, as always, and again, the majority of guys that have been out to the Euros will tell you this, it's always Tuesday to Sunday. And then for whatever reason this year, they decided
it was on Monday.
Do you know what? We're going to do it on Monday. So obviously you went out.
Because I remember messaging you.
Yeah.
And saying, it says it might be on Monday, and you saying, listen, there's absolutely no way it'll be on Monday. You'll be because obviously I was flying out on the Sunday with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And everyone else was flying out on Monday.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's great because I'll have a day on Monday to just kind of relax and not do anything, and then I'll be able to compete on Tuesday and everyone will be there on Tuesday, which will be really nice because it's really nice to just share experiences with people, especially your friends and your training partners and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just like, and also as well, like just looking up into the crowd and seeing them there, it'll bring a level of comfort.
It does.
If you consider yourself.
Yeah.
And then the timetable came out and it was on Monday, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Because I remember.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Jack or Henry took a picture and then they put it on the group page, or they put it on the group chat and tagged me in it and said, "Oh, really, Stuart?" So, but I mean, this was the first year that. And the Euros that I've known is ever to be on a Monday. Which shows you one thing, it's getting busier because they always say that. Yeah, I mean, they always say that the Monday's the day, if it reaches capacity or if it gets bigger, they're then going to do a Monday. So obviously this year we did a Monday. But the good thing was, I mean, you were out there, you'd already been there for a day, you were kind of used to everything, your surroundings and stuff like that, and then the guys obviously they come out.
That's what we were. So it was really good because I arrived at 10 o'clock on Monday. So the flight was, the flight only took 2.5 hours as well to get there. I think we had a tailwind, so like the flight was like no problem. So it was really easy getting there, and then we arrived at 10 o'clock, and I think we were in our apartment for like 11 o'clock, something like that. Yeah. So I still had the full day, and then we really want to watch as well because the time that I was going to be on, Gavin, Jack, Henry, and Jake will have arrived at that point.
Yeah.
So they were. So I was like, oh, thank God, they'll be able to be there.
Yeah. So he goes into you go into the first fight. And we'd been, I'd found the guy on Facebook and would send you a picture and stuff like that, and you're like, do you know what? I don't care what the guy looks like, just whoever it is, we're going to fight, and that's it. So you went in and you've exactly as your game plan. Again, we were talking about this. Me and you had been going back and forward on Facebook Messenger. I think it was maybe on a Saturday, and we were talking about game plans and stuff like that. And your game plan was simple: takedown, pass the guard, possibly a knee on belly, Kimura.
Yeah.
And that first fight you went in, I remember watching it, I was thinking, yes, he done exactly. And that's what you said, that was you. You said, do you know what? I just want to go out, do my game plan, and that's it. So you went out, first fight, and done it to absolute, exactly as you said you were doing it. So how did you feel after that first win?
Yeah, I was pleased. I was pleased. I was definitely pleased. And again, it was just a case of like game on.
Yeah.
Like that's game on. Like that's it. Like it's went well, but on to the next one. There was no kind of like resting. Or kind of dwelling on that decision. Of it being well, or it was a case of right, good stuff. Right, now we've got the next opponent.
Yeah.
I'll be happy once it's over. Once I've hopefully won. What I mean? I'm not going to get too ahead of myself after just the first match.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the second match already, but second match was a bit tougher because of the guy. I say the guy was heavy, very heavy. And
huge. He was huge, huge.
Yeah, and you noticed that as well. I mean, he was easy, as you said, 140, 150 kilos. And obviously it was a wee bit tougher. You did go for attempt a couple of takedowns, and I think you ended up winning, if I believe rightly, was by an advantage. I mean,
I think he must have went out of bounds about 10 times.
Yeah.
I definitely was very frustrated with myself after it. After I was extremely frustrated with myself, if I was being honest.
Yeah.
He had. It's not about whether or not he, because like by the time the referee reset us and said start or whatever they say, he'd already taken two or three steps back.
Yeah. And
by the point we gripped, we're already at the yellow and whatnot. And I understand his game plan, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't frustrated with him. I was really frustrated with myself.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, at the end, he, I think he tried some kind of throw or sacrifice throw or something, but I managed to kind of go straight into his open guard.
Yeah.
And then I knee sliced past him, and then he turtled, and then I went round the back, and then he tried to recover a guard, and I kind of ended up in kind of top side just as the referee had as the match had finished, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if I had a couple more seconds, I would have, got the points for side control.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah, I managed to win on points. But I was, really frustrated with myself after that match. It didn't feel like if I'm being honest, it didn't feel like a win.
Yeah, I mean, me and you spoke about this after it, and then I remember saying to you about, do you know what, that was his game plan. He's and I said to you, he's a counter fighter. What he was doing is he was stepping back to make you come in, to then for you to attempt something, for him to then counter it, to then for him to get the better position. And that's pretty much what his game plan. His game plan was to frustrate you into making a mistake. Which I mean, game plans like that work. I mean, I fucking won all the gold medals I've ever won based on exactly the same game plan. So,
of course, yeah. And it's a case of I was just very frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
And it truthfully, it didn't feel like a win, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like an area that I'm going to need to dramatically improve, especially into blue belt, because again I was watching the blue belts Euros, and And again, and that tactic is used a lot at blue belt as well.
Yeah.
Obviously they're just maybe, you know, obviously like the belt above me, so they're obviously just much better at it.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to have to find find a way to counteract that and just be better. I mean, that's the truth. Like, that's the reason why I was so frustrated with myself, because I just obviously I wasn't good enough to deal with the kind of game plan on the feet that he had employed.
Yeah.
And again, luckily he was the one that made the mistake with the sacrifice throw, and I was able to kind of capitalize.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really, really upset and frustrated with myself after that, and it didn't feel like I won.
Yeah. And then you move into the semi-finals. So again, the semi-finals were a bit of a tough fight as well. So because I believe you won that in points as well.
Yes.
And so obviously you went in there, you've had the first two fights, obviously confidence is obviously growing and growing as you go throughout it. So you're in the semi-final, you know you're guaranteed a medal at this point. But obviously the medal you want is the gold medal. So how did you think that one went then? So how did you feel out with yourself after that win?
Again, yeah, I would say I was pretty frustrated with myself again. I don't feel I didn't feel that I gave an accurate representation of what I was doing in the first match or in the gym. I felt like, and again, it's just a case of I just need to get better. It's not like a pity party or anything like that. It's just a case of at the time I was frustrated with myself, and like since then it's a case of, well, you just need to get much better to be able to kind of deal with this. Again, that match was a bit similar. It was kind of stalled out. I nearly got a takedown, like almost like within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I kind of had the single leg, and then we kind of went out of bounds. But I'd kind of I'd shown my kind of my card for what my kind of number one takedown was. He obviously knew that, and then was able to kind of avoid it moving forward into the match. But then again, he was very good, and I just need to be better. But he pulled guard, and then again I was able to knee slice, and then he turtled, and then I went on the back, and then again he kind of tried to maybe invert into like full guard or something like that. But again, I managed to kind of ride round it and end up inside, and then as soon as that kind of happened, that the match was over again.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, after that, I was super frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't feel like I'd won, and was just really, really annoyed with myself. And again, like already by that point, I was like, right, I've got to really work on this in the gym and blah blah. And I was like, oh shit, hold on, you've got a final to go to. Like, shut up, you can deal with this stuff.
Yeah. Like,
let's not get ahead of yourself, But like straight away, I was like writing down in my phone notes like things that I need to like improve, you know. But and then it was a final.
Yeah. And then the final went textbook again, Mark. I mean, you went in there and you done exactly what you did in the first fight. You did exactly what you said you were going to do. So again, like that the guy in the final was he was huge, like but like good huge as well. Like he wasn't like he wasn't fat at all. Yeah.
He was a big guy. He was a guard player. So he'd had a lot of success with, I think, all of his matches. He pulled guard, swept, and then submitted or won on points. So he was really, really good.
Yeah.
But I was pleased with my performance in the final.
Yeah. And I said, I always remember you after it. I mean, you said, look, because obviously messaged a few other people as well, but messaged me, just say, look, obviously, can you watch my video? Just tell me what I could have done, what I could not have done. And I remember thinking, Mark, you're European champion. Like, who cares about what happened during them 4 fights? You're European champion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again,
Yes.
obviously watched it and it was fine.
Yeah. So the final went. The final. I was pleased with the fight. So he pulled guard instantly. Also being a guard player, and then I knee slice past him, and I managed to I got the underhook.
Yeah.
I got the underhook, and then the referee reset us in the middle. So I had the underhook, and then I passed, and then I was able to pass his guard, and then knee on belly, and then a Kimura. So I was pleased with that. But
yeah,
I literally think the first thing I did was because I spoke to Jack, because obviously Jack was there, and again, like, you know, Jack's always so helpful. But I remember I spoke to Jack after, and I was like, you know, kind of things you think I can do, and then I remember I messaged you about, you know, what I can improve, and then I remember I asked Peter as well, because he'd messaged me about what things I can improve. And I mean that's quite funny that I just won, but it was the first thing I could think of, like, what can I do better? Because there was although I won gold, like there was aspects of the performance that weren't up to par. Just truth be told, and again, obviously, I've only been doing it 10 months, and I'm a complete beginner, so nothing is up to par. If that makes sense, like, everything needs to improve so much. But obviously, like, from a short-term perspective, there's some things that I could maybe improve in the short term that's going to have a positive effect at the current belt level that I'm kind of competing at.
Yeah. And it's good. I mean, literally, you messaged me. I'll tell you, it was within an hour after you won the final. Within an hour, and I think you were more. Obviously, the first and the last fight you were happy with, but I think the middle 2 fights, and I'd say the only thing was it was the person's game plan. As I said, you. As you said there, you weren't used to that type of game plan. Obviously, being bigger guys, you know the bigger guys are going to try and stall it out and things like that. Obviously, if they get a point or whatever, but obviously on the feet, you weren't used to that stepping back, that counter-attacking style and things like that. So, and that was the only thing I'd say. Everything else you did was absolutely perfect. Do you know what I mean?
The one thing I was pleased was throughout all 4 was my aggression, and by that I mean just like I was constantly the one that was gripping first, moving forwards, trying to advance the match. You know, like I was pleased with that. But that's obviously like I remember that was one of the things that like Jack has always said to Marcos, everybody. But I remember on Saturday speaking to you, I think it was actually Sunday speaking to you. You said, like, you know, be first, you know, to be first every time, be first. And that was the one thing that I constantly tried to employ, was just be first every single time, no matter what.
And that's you. So you're now European champion. IBJJF European champion is a big thing, because it's, as we said, IBJJF's probably the pinnacle. As you mentioned, obviously the IPF for powerlifting, IBJJF's the IPF of the jiu-jitsu world. So so you've now done that. So your next competition is going to be on the 8th of February.
Next Saturday.
Next Sunday. Is it Sunday, Saturday?
It's
Saturday.
It's Saturday, yeah.
I'll need to check. Is it the 8th or 9th?
Right. I think it's the 8th, Saturday the 8th, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'll double check. I was always convinced it was on a Sunday, but Saturday's fine. So you're going to go to that. As I said, everybody in Scotland knows you now, Mark. So, because obviously when, as you probably noticed, but obviously when the guys from all over Scotland were fighting, I was doing the updates on the Scottish Jiu-Jitsu community page, just keeping everybody updated, because again, there was a lot of people who their teammates were fighting and they didn't have access to Flow Grappling and they didn't have access to IBJJF. So I was posting all the results up, so everybody in Scotland knows you. You were one of the 4 gold European champions that came from Scotland. Obviously, you being one, Scott Rigg being another, Abbey Ray and Rick Young being the other 2.
Yeah.
So you're going to go into this competition. Everybody's going to know you. Are you going to expect anything different from anybody you're going to be fighting next week? Or I'd say that you're not really worried about what other people do. So
no, I wouldn't say I'm expecting anything different at all. No, again, it's a case of, all I can do ultimately is just put my best foot forwards and do my best performance and be first with my game plan. If I can be first with mine, that means that if I can be offensive, then they're going to hopefully have to be defensive, and if they're being defensive, then they're not employing their game plan. Yeah,
definitely. Then the future for you, then what's your plans? What have you got vision wise for the future for your jiu-jitsu?
I just want to keep progressing through the belt ranks and continuing to win these competitions. Like there's no like delusions of mine. Like it was a white belt, so it's a complete beginner belt. So it's a case of then it's at blue and then so on and so forth. So it's just a case of just keep showing up every day, keep trying my absolute hard, just keep asking everyone questions and keep learning, and then after I do that, just keep progressing through the ranks and keep winning as many big competitions as possible, and just try and kind of do in jiu-jitsu what I did in powerlifting.
Yeah. And then competition, what competition you want to do next? Well, once obviously you've got the local comps, but what big competitions have you got your eyes set on?
So there's Worlds in May, but also that's in California, so it's a case of just kind of working out costs and everything like that. I was checking the calendar, and there's the IBJJF British, I think, in
London Open end of February, yeah. Or are you talking about the British in June?
Yeah, there's a British in June.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep doing, just every IBJJF comp that I'm able to do. Keep doing them, and just keep competing against the best people that I can compete against at the kind of current, belt rank and experience level and weight class, and just keep doing all them, and just hopefully just keep trying to get better and better and better. Like there's really if I can just keep the getting the better the goal, like the competitions are a result of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you have you mentioned as well you got a partner. So how long have you been with your partner now, Mark?
2 years.
Yeah. So how does your partner feel, obviously, about your jiu-jitsu? Because you spend a lot of time with us. so how does your partner? So what kind of things do you guys like to do when you do get the chance to kind of wind down?
Honestly, mate, we don't generally do too much. We're both pretty quiet and live pretty quiet lives. I would say we honestly just kind of watch Netflix and what's accompanied with watching Netflix. Maybe go out for some food or walk the dog or something like that. But no, I would say we live pretty boring lives, to be honest. I mean, saying I'm with all of you a lot is an understatement. And then also you throw in as well going to the gym to lift weights, and then also like going to the gym to do hot cold and
wrestling
and sports massages and everything else.
And you've taken up you'd mentioned to me the other day judo as well.
Yeah, so I went to my first ever judo class last Monday, which was amazing. So basically I spoke to Michael Love, because and obviously I was just asking, because obviously like the the big guys' game plan is to kind of like you said, like stall and counter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Michael was saying like judo's amazing for that, because obviously like with wrestling, obviously I'm doing like freestyle wrestling like 3 times a week, but obviously there's not a gi involved in that.
Yeah.
So it's much harder to stall. But in the gi, with good grips, you can prevent leg attacks because of like a stiff arm, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said like judo's amazing for that, for just like grips and grip breaking and grip strategy and whatnot. So I thought, right, that's what I maybe think is going to be the next thing that's going to be able to really improve my stand up, along with in the wrestling, because if someone doesn't play that game plan, I could then hopefully have maybe some foot sweeps or maybe a throw that they can prevent. Do you know what I mean? Even with grips. So I went on Monday night to Michael Love's club, and it was amazing. It was really, really good. Very humbling, but it was really, really good. So going to just be doing that every Monday night, once a week, along with wrestling 2 times a week for my stand up, and hopefully that's going to be a good answer to that kind of game plan.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you know this, Mark, but IBJJF's got a ranking system. Okay. Now,
right.
So currently, now obviously the big one's the Euros. That's the one you get the most points for. Okay. So you usually get 108 points for a win, for a gold medal. And unfortunately, obviously, IBJJF, the Euros, as you know, didn't have an absolute. Okay, otherwise that would have added to the points. So currently at the moment, Mark, you sit ranked number 15th in the world.
All right, okay.
In the UK, at your belt level, you're ranked number 1 in the UK. So,
right, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at it now as we were speaking. So you are currently the top guy's 249 points from Brazil. Okay. Now the reason he's got 249 points is because there's a big competition in Brazil before the Euros. So that person could have potentially went and won a gold medal at that, won an absolute at that, and then come over to the Euros and won the Euros. So, top guy's a Brazilian, 249 points, and then when you scroll down, Mark Marcos MacQueen, 108 points. There's about 7 people on 108 points. Okay. So you're ranked number 15th. You are in the UK at white belt level. You're the number 1 guy in the UK. And the next person behind you from the UK is a guy called Devante Lamar Johnson Rose, who's on 90 points. So you're 18 points in front of the second place guy.
And is that in my weight class?
That's that's
white belt. Out of everybody. Oh, okay.
Out of everybody. So out of weight class, you would be the top guy in your weight class. Potentially, depending on what these guys above you are, what weight they are, and things like that. So, but the way the IBJJF does it, they do it per belt. Okay.
That's interesting.
So, if you go on the IBJJF website, on the ranking, and then just look at the IBJJF ranking, Mark MacQueen, MMBJJ, 108 points, ranked number 15th in the world. Now, that's a big thing. Granted, there's only one competition, okay, but, I mean, that means that potentially by the end of the year, if you don't do another IBJJF comp, potentially you're still going to be in the top 100 by the end of the year, okay. But obviously, if you're going to be doing other IBJJF comps, I mean, if you're doing, let's say, the British, you get 27 points for the British. You get quite a lot of points for the Worlds because of the level of what the Worlds is. But usually other kind of smaller IBJJF comps, like when I say smaller, I mean not Worlds, not Euros, but British, London Opens, there's 2 of them this year. Amsterdam, Paris, Poznan, I think it is, Poland, and various other ones. Usually you get about 27 points for. The Brazilians get a lot of points because, as I say, there's quite a few IBJJF comps within Brazil. So they tend, that's why you tend to find that usually the top 10 is taken up with Brazilians majority of the time. So yeah, ranked number 15th in the world at the moment, and the number 1 white belt in the UK, according to the IBJJF rankings.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so have a look at that. I didn't know if you knew that. I didn't know if you knew that. So
no, I didn't. That's really cool. It's quite cool they actually do that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I mean, they do it as well because black belts, especially black belts, need to be, for them to go to the Worlds, they need to have a certain point level. If they don't have that point level, they don't get to go. So that's why you see like a lot of the bigger guys going to IBJJF comps. Like you'll go to the IBJJF and you'll see like your Caio Terras, and you'll see like say your when he was competing, like say your Adolfo Vieiras, Hodja Gracies, and so on when they were competing. So because they've got to get points to go to the Worlds. If they don't get the points, as I said, they don't get to go. And what they do as well is they've got the rankings from white belt upwards, because by the time you get to black belt, you're already in that point set of mind where you know that you need to get X amount of points to reach whichever comp you're going to. So yeah, number 1 guy in the UK at the moment, Mark. So,
that's cool.
Anybody, this is the thing. This is the thing. Like, see when you look, this is why. Like when I fought the guy last year, I knew he was number 1 in the world because IBJJF had him ranked number 1 in the world, and then the year before, Thomas fought a guy who was, I think, ranked number 4 in the world. All through the IBJJF website. So whenever, and again, you're going to get this from now on. People are going to say, right, who's Mark MacQueen? And what they'll do is they'll type your name into IBJJF rankings, and it'll come up. Mark is currently the number 1 UK guy at white belt. He's ranked number 15 in the world at the moment. Won the Euros. So this is where, when your fights potentially in the future could potentially be harder, or get harder each and every time you fight, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. So
just because of how because of the ranking, because
people are going to see it and go, shit, I need to train hard for this guy. Because if you go in and you fight a guy and the guy's ranked fucking, there's 1,000 people in the rankings and he's ranked number 1,000, then don't get me wrong, you're still going to train properly to fight them. But if you go in and you look and see Mark MacQueen, then you're going to be like, shit, this guy's the number 1 UK guy, 15 in the world. I need to fucking train for this guy. So So I'd say potentially it can make your fights a little bit harder than what they would normally be in the future. So but no, well done for that. I've been looking for this. I've been waiting on this happening because and keep my eye out for it. That means like Henry as well. Henry will be quite high up the rankings as a blue belt.
Oh, Henry, yeah, Masters. Henry will be really high up there. He did so well.
Yeah, so he'll be what is Henry? I think Henry was a Master 2, if I remember rightly.
Masters 2, is it lightweight?
Yeah, so if we look at Master 2 blue belt, and it'll tell us what Henry is. But yeah, listen, well done, mate, because that's the Euros, as I say, you win the Euros puts you up there in the top, usually 20, and it's just then you progressing and moving on from there. And then, yeah, if you end up at the end of the year in the top, I don't know, 100, top 50 or whatever, then it's a huge achievement. So it's a very, very big achievement. So well done, mate. Well done in getting there.
Or let's just make sure we're number 1.
Well, that's the thing, mate. Just keep it going. Yeah, I say it's difficult because of the Brazilians. I mean, for anybody to get to number 1, usually you have to compete in Brazil at some point, and for a non-Brazilian to win in Brazil is very difficult. Very
Is it?
difficult. Yeah. Especially if you go up against a Brazilian. Because there was a few years ago, I think we spoke about this, but a few years ago there was a guy who had won, and he celebrated by doing a backflip on the mat, and the referee then disqualified him for aggressive behaviour.
Right.
And it was like, what? Like, he celebrated, man. He celebrated. There was no aggressiveness, nothing like that. And then he gave.
Yeah. So
And it was a
basically,
British guy.
you would need to
Yeah.
submit everybody and not say or do a thing.
Not say. Well, don't even look at the referee after it. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, that's you. So, but no, listen, well done for that. And then, obviously, you thanked a few people throughout. Obviously, you mentioned like Jack and Marcos. Gavin's been a big help for you as well. Obviously,
Huge.
your brother. So,
Yeah, huge.
So for you then, if you weren't doing jiu-jitsu, so obviously you'd mentioned you'd stopped doing powerlifting, but if it hadn't been for jiu-jitsu, what do you think that you would be doing? Obviously, having walked away from powerlifting or competing and so on, powerlifting, what do you think you would have wanted to do?
Good question. I think I'd just be aimlessly kind of, lifting weights in the gym, and just continuing to. I think I'd probably still be like, I would have still lost all the weight, because obviously, like, being 150 kilos absolutely sucks, and it was only for one purpose, and that was to lift the most amount of weight possible. So obviously now that wasn't the goal anymore. I would have still shifted that, because it's just the amount of food you have to eat, the amount of money you have to spend. It's just not nice.
Yeah.
So I think I would have still lost the weight, and I think I'd still be lifting weights, but I think it'd just be a bit aimlessly. And I think I'd just be, just aimlessly lifting weights, and I'd still be focused on my coaching. But I'm still heavily focused on my coaching. I still do that full time, and that's where a huge amount of my time is kind of dedicated, and I absolutely love it, and I love helping all of the athletes I work with and whatnot. But I just think I'd have a lot of time that I'd just be sitting about and not doing too much, because I'd have to account for about 4 to 4.5 hours a day, not including travel, that I'm spending with all of you. Maybe watching a lot of porn, I'm not sure. Brilliant.
But no, listen, it's been a pleasure, Mark. As I said, anybody that wants to get a hold of you, especially the coaching side of things, because as we mentioned earlier, as I said, Mark does obviously the coaching as well. So he's he, as we mentioned, he can tailor programs to suit certain people. So if you're looking to lose weight, or maybe get a bit stronger, or even guys that are getting into powerlifting, jiu-jitsu, or even any other sports, how do they, because I know you're on Instagram and obviously Facebook, so how do people that want to get in contact, how do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, if you just go onto my Instagram, everything's there. So if you go onto my Instagram, there'll be a direct link in my bio to my coaching page. So you can see all of the athletes I work with and what they're doing and the progress they're making. And then that also gives you my email address, and you can either just send me an email by clicking on the email option, or just send me a direct message. Either way, it's very easy to get in contact with me. I'm on my phone too much as it is, so I'll reply pretty quickly.
Definitely. Well, listen, Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. As I said, I'm fortunate I can see you anytime that I come into the gym. You're always there, and so I'm fortunate I can kind of pick your brains anytime I want, and vice versa. As I say, you're always, anytime you need anything from me or even any of the other guys, as I say, don't ever feel that you're bothering anybody. Because as I say, at the end of the day, I mean, especially when as soon as I seen you'd won that one, the Europeans, man, I was over the moon, and the whole of Scotland knew about it. Do you know what I mean? Everybody knew about it. Mark
MacQueen. No, I appreciate that. But no, that's what's so good about the gym is like Marcos. like with Marcos, he is just such a great coach and such a great teacher. And as well, like, him and Gavin and Jack and Chris and Nick, everybody, have never once been even remotely bored at all the questions.
Yeah.
But it's just because I'm eager to learn, and like the best way to learn is from people that are better than you, and not just better than you, but also far more knowledgeable than you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I said we're always here. We're always here. Same as any of the other guys in the gym. As I said, all of us, even from the white belts right up to black belts, as they're always there to give their advice, help out, anything that the guys need. So, but listen again, Matt, it's been a pleasure. When you next in? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning.
And then, I should see you on Tuesday night. I'll see you if you're in on Tuesday night then.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And bring that medal. I want to see that medal.
I'll bring it in for Tuesday.
Put it in the bag.
Are you at the competition next weekend?
I'll be there, yeah. So I'll be refereeing and then obviously jumping off every time there's a guy fighting. I'll be jumping off the refereeing. So I will definitely be there. Yes.
Brilliant. That'll be awesome.
Brilliant. All right, sir. Well, listen, thanks again, Mark, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks very much for having me. That was awesome.
Perfect. Thanks again, buddy.
Thank you.
Take care. So, guys, that was Mark MacQueen. Mark MacQueen is currently a white belt. As I said, he's only been doing jits for 10 months and had an absolutely remarkable journey so far. I said Mark came into jiu-jitsu having been a world champion in powerlifting, IPL world champion, as IPF, I think he said it was, world champion, and he's brought that same competitive, can't even say it, the competitiveness, the way he thinks about training, the way that he goes about training. He's brought that same mentality into jiu-jitsu, which for me, I believe that's why he's been as successful as he has so far. As he'd only done 3 comps, 6 fights in the first one, 6 in the second one, and then 4 fights at the Euros. Won every single competition, won every single fight. Hasn't had any points scored against him, which again, as I mentioned earlier, is a remarkable feat. And got a competition next week as well. As I said, because obviously the IBJJF rankings and people know who he is, fights are going to get tougher for him because people are going to specifically up their game to fight him. Which for Mark, I mean, Mark welcomes that. I mean, Mark's he's a competitor. He wants to be up against the best version of whoever it is that's standing in front of him. So I'm sure guys from all over Scotland and further afield, if they come up against him in a comp, they'll know who he is. A quick Google search, and they'll bring up details on him through obviously powerlifting and through jiu-jitsu as well. So obviously mention a bit about his own kind of weight loss. So he's went down from 150, being 150 in powerlifting, obviously had to be there because of the amount of weights, the level of weights and so on that he was lifting. He's now dropped down to, he said he's about 117 at the moment, so I think it was less than that. I'm sure he was about 115, 116 for the Euros. And so again, a remarkable weight loss, and you certainly see that in his before and after pictures as he stand at the moment. Does the coaching as well, so he helps out with strength and conditioning, weight loss, anything that that you're looking to do, then Mark can put together, as we said, a specific game plan, specific training program, specific eating plans and things like that in place for anybody. So again, if you want to get in contact with Mark MacQueen on Instagram, MacQueen spelled M-A-C Queen, so it's M-A-C, and same on Facebook. He's on Facebook as well. He's got a presence on both. As I said, he's on his phone all the time. He's constantly emailing clients that he has, emailing different plans and things like that to different people. So yeah, definitely hit up with Mark. And yeah, we're just looking forward to seeing what comes next from Mark. As talking about the Worlds, if he goes over to the Worlds, I think only one person before has ever won the Worlds at adult level, and that was, I'm positive, just Shea Montague. Obviously, Shea made history the first time he did it, when he did it. So Mark can potentially go over there and be the second adult to win a World Championships. Now again, anybody, if I'm wrong on that, then please correct me. I say the only other person I think was Rick Young. Rick Young won it as a master. So yeah, listen, my absolute pleasure to talk to Mark. I said I'm fortunate enough I can train with him on a daily basis. He kicks my ass. He's a big guy. He kicks my old ass all the time. But I'm one of these guys. I frustrate him. And exactly what he talked about in his second and third fight at the Euros, it was that frustrating style where what I do is I'll let the person do something and then I'll counter that. And that's always been the way that I've done my jiu-jitsu. That's the way I was taught. That's the way, being a heavier guy, that's the way, obviously, that I go about competition. So let the person push and push and push, let them tire out. As soon as they tire out, then just capitalise. So yeah, I do that in the gym a lot with him. He gets me into some horrible positions, and yeah, I just frustrate him, and then try and capitalise on it, which as time goes on, it's getting more and more difficult to capitalise on any mistakes he makes, because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes now. As I said before, obviously when he first started, he would have made mistakes, but he doesn't make a lot of mistakes now, Mark, which his game's getting so much tighter and tighter, so it's great to see. So listen, guys, thank you very much for listening, and we will speak to you on the next one.